My name is Jaimie, and I am a KATRINA baby.
17 years ago, y'all, Katrina hit New Orleans.
17.
And we are finally talking about it. Edward Buckles Jr., he released the documentary, Katrina Babies, and the conversation is being had. Many of us haven't talked about our stories, haven't even processed what was going on, what has happened. 17 years, and we are finally talking about it. Today we have Jaimie, who is here. She's going to share her story with us. And one thing Edward said is, this is not entertainment, this is impact.
This is not entertainment, this is impact. This is not entertainment, this is impact.
We cannot rebuild the city until we are rebuilt. So what we are doing now is needed. And I'm just really glad that, Jaimie, that you're here on Love Talk to tell your story. So first and foremost, have you seen the documentary Katrina Babies?
Yes, I have seen it. I saw it a couple days ago. I was kind of skeptical. I did not want to watch it. But when I did, I'm like, yeah, this is what we need. Like, this is opening up the conversation to talk about trauma, because, you know, we don't process much as inner city kids anyway, you know. So it was needed. I loved the documentary. He did his thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I know you said you watched it. Look at the camera now and just tell Edward a couple words.
Edward, I would say keep doing what you're doing, like this, opening up this conversation about trauma, about the things that we went through as Katrina babies. Yeah, what about the babies? You know what I'm saying? Like that was the question when you said that. What about the kids of Katrina? In my mind, I'm like, I gotta join this conversation. So you sparked the interest for all of us, and I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing.
I 100% agree. So now we're gonna tap into the heart of this conversation.
Yes.
Your story, your journey. I want to let you know this is a safe place. Feel your emotions. Understand we are all healing as one. Like you said, this is a needed conversation.
Absolutely.
So let's have it.
Let's do it.
So just tell us in detail
Okay.
about your Katrina experience.
Man, my Katrina experience was crazy. So before the storm hit, me and my family, we already was going through it. We were living with my aunt. At the time, my mom was hospitalized at Baptist. And right the day before the storm hit, me and my cousins, we playing cards, right? And I was always a mama's kid. And so I'm like, I'm going with my mama. I'm going with my mama. Thank God I did. Because when I got there, my mama was like a zombie. Do you hear me? They was medicating her, I mean, hour after hour. The storm hit, and after that, when it got so bad, they started, of course, evacuating. But even before they started evacuating, they were euthanizing patients. Like, literally euthanizing them, killing them. And I heard a lady say, she gonna die anyway, I might as well kill her. Them words ring in my head when I tell you. So they kept coming in my mama's room with the little, y'all know those little cups of pills. They filled them cups up. Every look like 20-30 minutes they was bringing the pills in there to give to my mama. Can you imagine a 15-year-old like, what's going on? Why y'all keep giving her medicine? I'm like, hold on, no, stop. She ain't taking no more. It was so bad, my mom didn't even know the storm had hit. Wow. She was damn near comatose. You know, she was on the floor hallucinating. They was giving her so much. They tried to kill my mama. So after that, when I stopped her from taking her medicine, eventually she kind of slept it off. I got up, I said, we got to get up out of here. Windows was busting in the hospital. They was telling all the patients to come out the rooms and get into the hallways or go into the bathroom. So we did that. Eventually, there was like patients in one line, visitors in another line. So I'm a visitor, right? So my mom was like, I ain't leaving my baby. I said, I ain't going nowhere. You know, just like that. And they was like, okay, well, y'all got to go then. So they told us we had to go. We had to fend for ourselves. I don't even remember which floor my mom was on, but all I remember is coming down them steps, and it was a horrible sight. Of course, y'all know the power had been out for days at this point. And when I tell you, it was stank. It was feces everywhere, urine everywhere in the hospital. Okay. We get down there to the first floor, and we get there. It's water everywhere, all the way to the top step. Everybody standing up on a top level, just back at the door like this here. So they're saying, okay, well, some boat's gonna come and, take y'all to dry land. Don't that sound like something in the Bible? Some dry land, what? So they actually come. They put us on a boat. They drop us off on St. Charles and Napoleon. And y'all, when I tell you, on our way to St. Charles Avenue, we in a boat, police officer driving a boat. He got his hand on his pistol because people, residents who lived on Napoleon, maybe they was shooting. They thought we was looters because people was breaking in their houses and stuff. So they thought we was looting. They was shooting at the boat. We on the boat like this, ducking. The man had his the police officer had his hand on his gun like he was getting ready to shoot back. But eventually we got through it, and it was so bad. They broke in the right on the corner. We went in there. We got baby wipes, cleaned up, water and stuff like that. And I never forget, it was this girl. She had a 6-month-old baby. All the baby had on was a little pamper, and she had on the brine some shorts. I think about her all the time. I'm like, I wonder if they made it out. I really wonder if they made it out, but who knows? But she got her baby some Pampers. We got cleaned up, and we just had to fend for ourselves. My mom was like, I know my brother, he ain't left. He was in the Magnolia. So we was like, well, let's just try to walk down Washington Avenue, see if he's still in the Magnolia. Yo, we walking down Washington. When I tell you, it was so much water. The guys was like, hey, y'all ain't gonna make it. Y'all ain't gonna make it. On that way, it was cars driving up and down St. Charles Street, right? We ain't thinking. So they rolling their windows down. Hey, y'all need a ride? We like, yeah. Just in survival mode. Ain't thinking clearly. We get to the car. They pull up their window and drive off, splash water all over. Y'all, when I tell you, it was a mess. People were just doing stuff. We didn't know what to do. We surviving, okay? So we walking down Washington. The man said, y'all ain't gonna make it. We like, all right, well, what can we do? My mama shorter than I am. She about 4'11", 4'10", 4'11". I'm only 5'3". So when I tell y'all God was in a ram in the bush, understand this. We don't know where the boat came from. It was 2 guys walking, pulling a garbage can with their stuff in it, fussing. We needed a little comic relief in the midst of all of that. They fussing. They was the ones pointing out that we wasn't gonna make it. Hey, I just seen a boat around the corner. We'll put y'all on the boat. We trying to get to where they was at. We go down in the hole. Yo, I got a bag around me with my clothes in it that I packed up when I went to the hospital. Got the bag around me, trying to hold my mom up. It's a big post right here. We going down. When I say like quicksand, we going down. You hear me? And so the man, he was stealing gas out somebody's car for his generator. And he helped the guys put us on the boat. We get on the boat. My mom had to sit on one side. I got to sit on another side. And they took the garbage can and put it in the middle to balance us out. God, when I tell you, he always gonna provide. So them men pulled us all the way to the Magnolia on that boat. But on the way, we got to pass up the cemetery. We seeing coffins. We seeing dead bodies. We seeing dead babies. I will never forget the image, a dead baby floating right side up, just floating. 15. How can you even process that? You know what I'm saying? My mom was just like, just look at me, just look at me. So we on the boat like this, can't now want to swim, scared to death. The men just like, y'all gonna be all right. So they pulled us there. They couldn't get us in the court where my uncle was at, but they was able to get us to the front porch. We sitting on the front porch, and we sitting out there. It's getting dark at this point. My mom was like, girl, we gonna die. She just kept saying, we gonna die. We gonna die, Jaimie, we gonna die. And I was sitting there, y'all. I don't know what it was. It had to be the peace of God up on me, because I was just sitting there like, we ain't gonna die. We gonna be all right. You know, I'm like, we ain't gonna die, man. I just kept saying, we ain't gonna die, man. Think about that. Those roles reversed, right? Like, I'm the one saying, man, we gonna be all right. My like, I'm losing it. You know? And so eventually they had some people walking. They had all this stuff on a big old headboard. Looked like about a California king size headboard. They had all this little stuff on it. They walking by. My mama asked if they know my uncle. So they was like, yeah, we know him. So somebody across the street, they gone. Y'all, we just sitting out there. At this point, it's dark. So the people that were walking, they was able to, you know, get my uncle. He came. When I tell y'all, when he came around that bend, it was like I saw Jesus himself. I'm like, he ain't left. So he get us in there. He had to, you know, take us. He had to put my mom on his neck and like had to hold me up because it was, you know, the water was too high. So we made it. We stayed in the Magnolia like 3 or 4 days after that. And it was horrible. It was horrible. Of course, there was no power. They had a gas stove. But we couldn't. It was. I mean, thinking about you hearing the rats. Like we landing in the bed, we hearing the rats outside. The smell, y'all. The smell. It was horrible. We seeing helicopters just. They circling. We like, hey, we need some water. It took them forever to drop us some water. And the military meals, MRIs, whatever they call them, they finally start dropping that. So we was able to kind of eat on that, you know. We washing with bottled water that they was dropping and all of that, just trying to stay clean, you know. It was a horrible experience. And we sitting outside. Now, this was one of the funniest parts. We sitting outside on the porch, stank, nasty water around us. We hot as piss. And we turned on the radio, Ray Nagin going off on everybody. When he did that interview, he was cursing the people out left and right.
And they don't have a clue what's going on down there. They flew down here one time, 2 days after the doggone event was over, with TV cameras, all kind of goddamn, excuse my French, everybody in America. But I am pissed.
And we were sitting there and we rolled laughing at him. That was one little moment I was like, okay. You know, it felt a little normal in the midst of all the chaos. You know what I'm saying? So eventually the water was getting too contaminated. And it was just kind of like, y'all got to get up out of here. Get up out of here. So we had to make our way to Shakespeare Park. Because they couldn't come down where we was at. I almost fell. It was just horrible. I lost my shoes, everything. But we made it to the park. My mama was freaking out because, you know, when them helicopters come load of water just kind of gushing at you. And I was just like, just take my mama first. Like, just take my mama. It was me, my mama, my uncle, my auntie. And they took my mama. Then they took my auntie. They took me. And then, but when I tell you I was like a baby, get me. I had never flown ever before, but I was like, get me up out of here. We got up there, y'all. When I looked down at the city, it's a sight that you never forget. It like burned in the brain. You know, I mean, everything was underwater. All you can see is little treetops and roofs. Barely that. You know, it was a sight to see, just to say the least. So they flew us to Armstrong International. We get there. It's people everywhere. We stood out there for hours. They finally put us on a plane. Everybody's soaking wet. Everybody first time flyers. Everybody. When I tell y'all the whole flight, everybody was screaming. It was the one of the worst things ever. Everybody just screaming. I'm trying to like just relax. My mama holding my hand so tight. Everybody hollering. We soaking. We like, where we going? Where we going? Nobody would say anything. When we land, welcome to Lubbock, Texas. We like, who? Lubbock? Okay. We get to Lubbock, y'all. They put us on a bus. And they transported us to the military base. We was on a military base. And when I tell y'all, those people were standing outside with signs. Welcome to Lubbock. We love you. You made it. You know, all types of just encouraging messages, you know, on the sign. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know, 15, never been out the city, you know, never had nothing. Just kind of like, wow, you know. Get on the military base. They got the shower set up, clothes everywhere. When I tell y'all, I ran in that shower so fast. I don't know when the last time I had clean water to run on me. But that was one of the highlights. So we stayed there for a couple of days until we was able to get in contact with my auntie who was in Baton Rouge. And when I tell you, the chairman of Red Cross, and I know this because just recently I saw him on LinkedIn, and the eyes I was like, this got to be that man. But when I tell you, that man gave us all kinds of money. Our flight was delayed. We got caught with news cameras in the in the airport. We was going to catch our flight and they was like, y'all gonna have to wait till tomorrow. It's just too many people flying out. We didn't know what we was gonna do. We were just gonna, I guess, just sit at the airport. He said, That man pulled $700 bills out of his wallet, put in my uncle's hand, and he said, y'all go get you a room. You know, I'm gonna bring y'all to get you a room, get y'all something to eat. They gave us luggage, all type of stuff to make sure we were straight. And after we did that interview, y'all, when I look at that when I look at that article now, I'm like, look at me. I mean, head tied up. I was pissed. But we stayed overnight. We got back to Baton Rouge. Our families, they didn't know if we was dead or not, you know. So that was quite the reunion. That really was quite the reunion. But after that, once all the dust settled, everybody else had somewhere else to go. They had homes to come back to in the city. Me and my mama, we didn't have a home to go back to because we didn't have a home. We were staying with somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, okay, well, we just got to stay here until we figure out what it is we can do. And we stayed there about 9 months, 9 long months. But a part of the trauma is having to suppress all of that and then say, go to school. When I tell you, I went to Scotlandville Magnet High. It was horrible. The worst experience. Oh, just the children. Go get back on them boats. You know, go get back in that water. Y'all ain't got no, you know, I mean, high schoolers. You know what I'm saying? They don't really understand the extent of what we just had to go through. They're looking at us like, y'all coming, where y'all coming from? Ruining our school. You know, that was the type of attitude it was. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I ain't got time. I always was a fighter. Every chance I got, I just slapped somebody, cleaning them out. And, you know, we all got the rep of these New Orleans people come and tear our school up. These New Orleans people come tear our city up. You know, what we supposed to do? Y'all ain't offering us no resources. Y'all ain't, you know, trying to help us in any other type of way. Now, Scotlandville, they provided us as students with uniforms and backpacks and school supplies. Administration and students, they was horrible. They would send us home if we ain't had a right color jacket. Baby, we barely got a jacket. You mean to tell me you gonna send me home because I got a pink jacket on? That was the type of stuff that was going on. And I remember vividly, it's probably about 10, 15 students all was sent to the office because we had the wrong uniforms on. And when I tell you, all our parents came up to that school and clowned on that administration. Baby, they clowned. I bet we went back to class. You know, but it was those types of things that was happening. Like, how are we supposed to do this? And then our parents, they wasn't raised up on no therapy or no, nothing like that. So they just like, you made it. You good, And especially if you ask me a question, how you feel? Like, you all right? You made, yeah, I'm good. What else I'm supposed to say? You know what I'm saying? So it was just that, just suppressing that, just trying to keep going. You're not really focused on what you just went through. You know what I'm saying? You focused on what I got to face now. That's just what it was. I'm from the city. I'm used to issues. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go turn around and focus on, oh my God, I just went through a horrible experience. You know what I'm saying? No, let me face what I'm facing now. We need somewhere to stay. What we going to do? And that was just the mentality. So after them little long 9 months, I was in the 10th grade, and my daddy, he was in Bogalusa, and he was in a little drug ministry program, getting his life together, getting clean and all of that, and he was able to find us somewhere to stay in Bogalusa, and we went there. He not purchased, but rented a house out for me and my mom, dropped the keys in her hand, and we stayed in Bogalusa till I graduated from high school. So that was good. I hated Bogalusa too, because this is country. What is this? I never even heard of Bogalusa. But you have to make do. You just got to make do with what you got. And that was the whole entire experience. Going through, making do with what you got. If you got to use the bathroom while you walking out here in the water, what you got to do? Make do. Same situation. So just the whole experience was just crazy. But what I realize now is that I hadn't processed them trying to kill my mama. That was the biggest thing. Like when I saw that 5 Days at Memorial on Apple TV, I'm like, ooh, a part of me really want to watch this. But then I saw the interview of the doctor who was convicted of euthanizing patients, and I was just like, But look what she said though. In the wake of COVID-19, I would hope medical professionals can understand the type of stress we were under and the decisions that had to be made in a moment. Why? Why did you have to make those decisions? Why did you have to choose, okay, they end their life, let me go ahead and give them some morphine and just speed up their time? You don't know if that lady had 5 more years in her, and you just ended it. But see, the thing that pissed me off about that is y'all wasn't just doing it to end of life patients. I'm a witness that you came in there and you kept trying to overdose my mama. That's the part. That's the part right there that just, it don't sit well with me. And that's why I'm not ready to watch that. I ain't ready.
And you were 15 years old.
15.
I want to take it back a second. I want to take it back to the moment when you and your mom were in the boat. And she was saying, we're going to die. We're going to die. You at 15 years old was like, we're going to live.
Yeah.
We're going to live. I know it was 17 years ago, but what do you think made you feel as though y'all were going to survive?
I don't know. I mean, I think I've always lived the optimistic type of life in my mind because of such conditions that I had to grow up in. It's just kind of like, if you don't see the light, you just ain't gonna make it. That's just what it is. And if I say we gonna die, then we might just sit out here and die. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a little bit older than my actual age. I've always been an old soul, if you will. And that was just one of the things. I'm like, we gonna be straight. It was just, when I tell you, a piece that I don't think I've ever experienced since. I had cookies in my little bag that we had and took out of Rite Aid, and I'm sitting on the step like eating the cookies like, man, chill, we good. We gonna make it.
And one thing that I said when I did my own Katrina interview is, I no longer want to survive. I'm ready to live.
Yes.
After 17 years, like we said, the conversation is being started. So for you, literally going through the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, today, are you surviving or are you living?
I'm living now. At this point, I'm living now. You get tired of surviving. You get tired of being in that state of flight or fight, of You know, it's just it's not healthy to live there. You know, I had to make a decision. Girl, look, what is gonna be? You're gonna stay there. You're gonna dwell on what you went through. You know, no. Let me stay focused on what's ahead. You know, I have family members and people who've known me since I was in diapers, and they always come up to me nowadays. Oh, you know, considering all you went through, you're doing good, and you know, and I take it as a compliment, but I also take it with a grain of salt. It's just kind of like, I get it, I appreciate that, but I'm really focused on what's ahead, not what's behind. It's just kind of like going through an obstacle course. You know what I'm saying? When you're going through that thing, when you get through the first obstacle and go to the second one, you don't have time to look back and say, oh, that was a hard obstacle I just went through. You keep going until you get to the end of it, until you find your peace at the end. Then you can turn around and say, I made it through all that.
Yes. And being that you're now, well, we all are now telling our stories, really unpacking what really transpired 17 years ago, how are you healing? How are you beginning to heal? Or are you healing?
I am healing. I will say I am healing. Certain parts of me have healed. Certain parts of me still in the process of healing. I've been to therapy. I'm in the mental health field. And a part of that is therapeutic for me, helping kids, you know, inner city kids that were just like me, you know, receive mental health services, process this, talk about this, you know, because some stuff is traumatic to us, but these kids, they're kind of like, this ain't no trauma, this everyday life, you know, desensitized to it. And that's a part of my therapy, helping them realize this ain't cool, this ain't a life to live, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm definitely living at this point.
Yes. And for a long time, I myself thought I wasn't affected by Hurricane Katrina because I didn't, you know, I wasn't there in the water, or my house didn't flood, or, you know, just things like that. But we all were affected by that. Absolutely. What can you say to the people, to all of us who were affected by Hurricane Katrina when it comes to healing, especially being that you're in the mental health field?
I mean, I would say find somebody to talk to, you know, and don't just talk about it, actually process it and feel it. Because when you just, at one point I was just like, I could spit my story out to anybody, you know, but realizing when I was triggered by that 5 days, man, I'm like, I have not processed this. So it's a difference between just talking about it and processing it. Make sure you talk to your social worker, counselor, whoever, a therapist, to process and go through your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real. We don't realize how it can shape us. You know, I didn't really think I was affected either. It was just kind of like another notch in my belt. Something else I made it through.
So do you ever think about what life would have been if Katrina did not hit?
Absolutely. A part of me says, thank God that I made it through Katrina and got to the other side of it. You know, because life before Katrina, like I said, it wasn't all peaches. You know, both my parents was on drugs. You know, it was just, we was living here to there. So if Katrina wouldn't have happened, then ain't no telling where I would be. I'd probably be in the streets. You know, I don't know. And I think about that all the time. Dead, anything. You know, so I'm thankful that it happened and I got through it. You know, because ain't no telling where I would be, quite honestly.
After, you know, unpacking, after watching Katrina Babies, after, you know, kind of reliving the moment, if I would say the least, you know, having to see everything again on camera, on screen for the world to see, where do you go from here?
I process and I heal. It's simple as that. I process, I heal, I move forward. I affect change for others. I influence those who have the same or similar experiences as I've had.
Yes. And this film is being seen everywhere. E. Buckles was just on the Breakfast Club, you know, so this is, and I think it's in the UK now in a whole different language. Wow. You know, so this is definitely worldwide. What do you want the people to know about you as a Katrina baby?
Me as a Katrina baby, I would say that I'm stronger now. I'm much stronger now. I understand that life comes and we have to continue to just press. You know, that's my thing at this point in life. At 31, it's just like, girl, just keep going. What more can you do with life? You know, I'm trying to just seize every moment, every opportunity, you know, not be afraid, staying firm and confident, you know, and just go forward. Like, I want to pursue a doctoral degree. That's my next step. So, you know, that's what I want you to know about me, that after everything that I've gone through, I'm still here, I'm still standing, and I'm going to continue to press. And I love the Lord.
Amen. I love it. And I ask all of my guests, what is a philosophy that you live on and stand by?
Ooh, that's a good one. Keep pressing. Don't look back. That's one of the biggest things. Just keep going. That's it. Just don't give up.
I love it. And I asked you so many questions throughout this whole conversation, but I want us to end on you telling the world whatever it is that is on your heart.
What's on my heart is that God is kind. God is gracious. Like, He is amazing. Whatever you need Him to be, I gotta throw Him in here because He's the only reason that I'm sitting here. So whatever you need Him to be in whatever stage in your life that you are, call Him and He'll be the one to get you through.
Absolutely. Look at the camera one more time. Say your name and that you are a Katrina baby.
My name is Jaimie and I'm a Katrina baby.
Yes. And just like that, we have wrapped another Love Talk Katrina story.
Yes.
If you are interested in sharing your Katrina story, definitely DM me because the conversation is needed. The conversation is being had, and we are survivors. And like Buckle said, this is not entertainment, this is impact. The city is not rebuilt until we are, and this is how we start our healing, by having a conversation. Y'all remember to believe in yourself. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.